Hi, this is Dave with DRH Acrylic Creations. Today we're going to be doing a painting all in earth tones with a 14-inch round. What I'll end up doing with this, it's basically balsa wood. What I'll end up doing with this after it dry and I resin it, I'll make it into a clock. So they work extremely well for that. As far as art pieces go, because of the thickness of the board, there's a high risk that it will warp. But with a clock, it's not so important, just as long as the hinges are high enough. Our colors, I've got several new ones, and I'm going to go ahead and do a voiceover with the color selection and show you each one of the colors. So without any more hesitation, let me get you down to the board and we'll get this started. Our first color is Amsterdam Expert Series Titanium Buff. It's a nice creamy white. Next is called Honeycomb, and this is This Little Piggy, and it's a sunflower gold type color. Next is Pearl White by Josonia, and as the name implies, it is a pearlesque color. Next is Burnt Umber by Josonia, and it is an opaque color and allow my paints to have something to sit on. This is, I'm going to try this, Alizarin Crimson Hue, and it's a brand new one for me. I've had it a few months now, but it's the first time I'm using it. Our cell activators, this is Lamp Black by Amsterdam, and you can see the consistency there. It's mixed 3 parts Australian Floetrol to 1 part paint. That's Titanium White by Amsterdam and Gold by Amsterdam. Okay, let's, now that you know the colors, you know what we're going to be doing, let's get started. My pillow paint for today is PPG Multi-Pro. This is my go-to, and I like the PPG because it is thick enough that my paints can sit on top of it, but not so thick that it doesn't move. I also like it because it's rather springy, stretchy. Yeah, another word for it. I just like the consistency of it, and I've been using it now for about a year. There are several that I've used in the past, but I've also used Glitten Essentials in eggshell, which works extremely well. But this one just seems to be fits all of my requirements, and also is fairly inexpensive, which I really like. So our colors, how are we going to go down this way? I think we're going to start dark to light. I'm going to start with my darkest paint first. This is a Josonia product, and I explained that earlier, but the Josonia products are just highly pigmented, which I like a lot, and I like the way they react. So I'm just going to lay down a nice swath here and make sure I get good coverage, because this is going to be the color that will be predominant underneath everything. And that's something when you're laying your colors down, there are schools of thought. I tend to go more towards the Lisa Marvin art, where she layers her tube paints or opaque paints coupled with any of the piggies or the pigments. So that should be enough for that. And the reason for that is it gives your color layer, your shiny layer, something to sit on top of. And by giving it something to sit on top of, each one of the layers won't sink, and they stand up better. So your cells at the end end up being much nicer. So let's go next. break it up. I think I'm going to break it up with my titanium buff. As you can tell, the titanium buff almost has a yellow hue to it, yellow beigey hue to it. It should be nice with the. It should be nice with the umber. And as I said, I'm going for an earthy tone here. Okay. Good, good, good. And let's go with the crimson. This is a first for me. I've not used this. It is a semi-transparent paint. So I think it was Kathleen of Cause Creations. She's the one that actually turned me onto this paint after I saw it in her pour, and it was just so amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing this final product. So this is the first time I've seen this paint in action on my own bench. A little bit of head cold going on. It's been going on for quite some time now. A little over it. Okay, so if I sound congested, that's what it's all about. And let's go with the Honeycomb next. This Honeycomb is a beautiful color. So again, this is a new purchase. This is a part of the newest This Little Piggy release, and it is definitely a honey yellow, yellow, orange, gold. It's hard to describe it, but not. Boy, that made sense. Beautiful color. This is my pop color. This is the color I want to come through and create interest. So, last but not least, should I do? I think I'll do this last. That's my pearlesque. That's pearlescent white, and that's a Joe Sonia product. I've used that in the past. This is a little bit more of my titanium white, not much, just want to, titanium buff rather, not much, just enough to give something for my last pearlesque to sit on top of. And also to kind of keep track of how much light I have there. And last but not least, I'm hoping this pearlescent pearlescent white will lighten everything up. Okay, now how should I layer these? Let me count the ways. I have three. I have three cell activators today. I have mixed up a batch of what my go-to gold is. This is a combination of the Amsterdam Iridescent Gold Deep and the PBO Precious Gold. So both of them are deep gold. They work well together. This down. Don't necessarily want it to be lost, but at the same time, it's not going to be a big player with the cells. And then right on the bottom of that, this is where my puddle of cell activators start. Okay, give it a good mix Always a good idea to do that. My cell activators are, as always, they're mixed with 3 parts Australian Floetrol to 1 part paint. This is titanium white by Amsterdam. Seems like a lot, but I'm not getting a lot off my stick. So, and this is Lamp Black by Amsterdam, mixed exactly the same way. So all 3 of these are mixed exactly the same way. These are guidelines, because even after you mix them, they may not look the same. So you kind of have to eyeball it and pay attention to what your consistencies look like. You want your consistencies to be the same throughout. Okay, I picked up my big straw and I'm going to blow straight down. Give it a chance to see what's going on. Excuse me for getting quiet. I'm looking at my center area here and my cells haven't stood up. So I'm debating at this point. I got some nice cells on the outside, but my inner cells have disappeared. There's a lot of solutions for that. The most drastic one of the solutions is to scrape it to the middle and redo. I'm actually seeing some cells starting to develop in the middle. Hope I'm not in the way of this camera here. Do some modifications. I'm going to run with this. I'm seeing some cells in the middle that will stretch out nicely. Do some modifications in this. Put some petals out there. Let's see if I should probably move this more towards center. If I get quiet, it's because I'm concentrating. I tend to do voiceovers for that fact, because I hate leaving people in the dark as to what I'm doing. All I'm doing is I'm going in here and making some minor swirls to bring some of the interest out, and also to create something that adds to without taking away from. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I mixed these paints yesterday with the anticipation of being able to paint yesterday. But there were so many air bubbles that I really didn't want to mess. I didn't want to really mess with it. So just instead of dealing with lots and lots of bubbles popping up and getting pillow paint involved, I just decided to wait a day to paint. Lately, I've been painting. I've been painting every second day or so. Depends on the mood. For me, it's mental health. I really do enjoy the process. That's why I started painting in the first place. It's a great way to process things. Concerned in this area right here. It's what you're seeing there is the white from the pearlescent white, possibly a little bit of the cell activator. Invading. What I'm doing is just bringing some of the outside into the areas that are not developing into what I want to see. This is the fun part. So many times you spin it out, and it's like what happens not the spinning up. You blow it out. What happens with the blowout? It looks like you don't want to mess with it. This is one of those cases where it'll be enhanced by doing a little bit of modifications to what you're seeing. I don't want to do anything that doesn't look organic, doesn't look like it was there in the first place. But excuse my dogs. Okay, I'm seeing that my pillow hasn't made it out to the sides and I'm way over here. So I'm going to have to just add some pillow paint. Thing about working with rounds is that fortunately what happens with the pillow paint is it does spread beautifully across that round surface. You're able to get a really nice and even flow across. But if you don't put a big enough puddle down to begin with, it can cause you headaches later. trying to avoid that right now. And what I mean by headaches, your design can fold underneath the color and underneath the pillow. Doesn't support it. So the pillow is there for the purpose of giving your color layer something to float across. And that's really basically it. The pillow holds up your color and gives it something to float to the edges. It's been about October, this last October was 2 years since I took the Sheleeart course, and it has been an eye-opener for me. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this style of painting. It's fluid art, but it's fluid art using much thicker paints. So, and because of that, your cells tend to stand up a lot more. They don't get as spread out, unless you want them to. So I just really enjoy the technique. I'm just spreading this out to the edges so it has something to flow against before I spin this. I can already see that I'm going to need to cover up to move this direction towards this camera. So what I'll do to make that happen is when you take things off center, the direction that you take it off center, generally speaking, will be the direction of the paint. The perilous part of this is if you do that, you can't spin hard. You have to keep it nice and soft. So see how this works. Okay. And it seems to have moved it closer to the side now. I don't really want to stretch too much because I want the design, I want the composition to remain centered and just spread. So my center is here, but there's that. So I'm going to need to bring it over slowly. Okay, now let's give it a spin. This is going to take a lot of spinning because my color layer is way in the middle. I don't mind negative space. I don't mind having the white on the outside. That doesn't bother me at all. But I do want this to spread out enough so that it gets closer to the edge. Finally going over the side. Okay, want to come this way just a little bit. Yep. So I'm going to move it out this direction. A little bit more encouragement. A lot of times what'll happen is if you've got a long time where things have sat, you'll get skin. I think that's what's going on there. Not a bad skin, but it's it can get bad. With what'll happen, you'll get a circle, or you can see where the paint dried underneath it as the wet paint flowed over the top. And that's getting better. Bring it back center. I don't know that I'll keep this part into the final video for sound. But I live near a train track, and frequently I'll have train sounds. More than I normally would go with. I'm really loving that crimson hue. That is, I think it's a Zillion crimson hue. It's amazing. This is a golden product. It's that color is, because it's semi-transparent. Because of the transparency of it, it's mixing beautifully. I'm getting all kinds of secondary color layers. I just really love that. Now, there's two reasons we spin. Two reasons we spin are that the colors or that the cells need to open up. By spinning, I can see that I actually did get some cells here in the middle. It also helps get the amount of paint you have in the middle, because that's where you concentrate. So you have your paint in the middle and it spreads out. If you don't get all that spread out, what you see in the middle will sink. So it's kind of a balancing act you play. So what I'm looking at is how much paint I have in the middle, and if there's too much paint, which is starting to look good, If there's too much paint, I have to continue to spin, even if I don't want to lose my composition at that point. My camera decided to stop, so I guess it's time for our flyover. Notice that the cells are absolutely gorgeous on the outside of this piece. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. So I'm hoping that you found today's video useful. If you have, give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already done so, ring that bell for future notifications of videos that I'll put out. It's my goal to put out 2 per week, and I'm hoping you're finding them both enjoyable and useful. Thanks for being here. Bye now.